welcome to the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. Here on SI, I am your host, Grant Chachere, the beat writer here for North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Tar Heels on SI, and then also make sure to go check out our Facebook page. We're uploading a lot of great stuff. Of course, ACC Kickoff finalized today. UNC spoke today, and they were actually the spotlight for the final day of the ACC Kickoff, which is pretty incredible considering the fact that Clemson was also on the same day as UNC. And of course, Clemson is not only the favorite to win the ACC, but they're also a national title contender. That just shows you the Belichick effect in full effect. So it was a great day for UNC, and kind of give a quick recap for UNC's day for media days. Me and Jeremiah Artacho will talk about that later this weekend. We'll have kind of a full weekend recap of everything going on, stuff like that. But there was a few things that really stood out to me. Number one, Belichick was the main attraction at ACC Media Days. I mean, if you look on Twitter, you see that there was a lot of attention on Bill Belichick, and that was expected. Bill Belichick has been the talk not only for UNC, but he's been the talk for about ACC football in general. When we think about, everyone's been talking a lot about Clemson, but really, a lot of people have also been talking about UNC, which is pretty incredible because there was a poll by the USA Today that had UNC 12th in the preseason ACC poll. And, that just shows you the type of impact that Bill Belichick has. And, look, nobody knows how good UNC is going to be. But, they have a great chance of being, one of the more improved teams around the country. And when you factor that in, with Bill Belichick being the head coach of UNC, you factor in the experienced players they have on defense. I think the defense will be improved. I talked about that in a previous show. You factor in you have a dual threat quarterback in Gio Lopez, who could be one of the better quarterbacks in the country, let alone the ACC. I mean, UNC has a great chance to improve off of their 6-7 season last year. I don't think they're going to be any worse than 6-6. Looking at this team, I am worried about their offensive skill positions, but if you look at quarterback, if you look at the defense, you look at the coaching staff, right? Not even just Belichick, but Freddie Kitchens is an experienced play caller, especially at both levels, at the professional level and the collegiate level. Steve Belichick has proven that he can lead a defense, right? We already knew that he did that. He did that with the Patriots, but remember, his dad was the head coach of the Patriots. So he goes to Washington, and he does a great job over there. They're the 28th best defense in the country, and they're the second best passing defense in the country overall. So, if you factor all those things in, UNC could improve, but, we don't know until that first snap against TCU. Remember, that game is going to be played on Labor Day night. So you get the chance to see really what this UNC team is all about. And, I'm showing you this picture right here, how much of a spotlight Bill Belichick had. I mean, that was the media room. That was like their individual media room right here. And, you had people literally trying to put their phones over people's heads so they can record Bill Belichick's press conference. And, that was expected. I mean, even some of the players next to him were chuckling about it. So, this is it was a great day for UNC in terms of spotlight, getting a chance to, what the mission of the program is, what's going on in the program, recruiting, stuff like that. I mean, UNC won the day today, and that was we all knew that the spotlight was going to be the Tar Heels, but just the overall media hype around UNC, even if they're middle of the table or they're one of the better teams in the ACC. I think it was just a win for UNC in general. One of the things I really liked too was Gio Lopez speaking today. And he said all the right things. He talked about the quarterback battle going on, and even though Gio Lopez is the starter, he's mentioned that he's had a really close relationship with the rest of the quarterbacks in the quarterback room, especially Mac Johnson, who he's competing for the starting position with. Right, they're together at the Manny Pazin Academy. They talk all the time. He spoke glowingly about Mac Johnson, and also he spoke glowingly about true freshman quarterback Bryce Baker. And that just shows you the type of leader UNC has, and I'm really excited to see him play. I mean, that was it's huge that I was able to go to ACC Kickoff because you really got to know who he was. Because remember, he transferred in after the spring, so he comes in and he says all the right things, and I like that the fact he's a competitor. I like he's uplifting his teammates. I also like that he admitted when he was younger, when he was playing, Pop Warner football, that he would rather have been a safety than a quarterback. And I think that's pretty cool because, offensively, you need a tough guy to be quarterback, and he's a tough guy. So there's that. Will Hardy. I like some of the things he said about, he seems like he's growing as a leader. He's, I actually wrote an article about that, so make sure to check it out. But he's really grown as a leader. He's accepted the responsibility of being a leader when there's a lot of turnover on the defensive side of the ball. So I really liked some of the things he said. And then also you have to mention Dabo Swinney and Bill Belichick having a rapport. That was pretty cool to see both of them praise each other. It's especially Bill Belichick praised Dabo and things he's done at Clemson, and Dabo mentioned how cool it was to to be in the same room as Belichick and to share information with each other. How to make each other better coaches. So I think that was really cool to see. But that's kind of a little quick recap of the ACC Kickoff. We'll talk more about that later this weekend. When I can get Jeremiah on the show, because I know he's got a lot of things going on, and he's got a lot of great content coming out. So make sure you check out Jeremiah or Tacho here on North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. But that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Make sure to follow Tar Heels on SI on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on Facebook as well. Also, make sure to follow me at Chachere Grant. That's my Twitter handle right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen on Twitter. And I'm going to be posting UNC content every day, all day. So make sure to check that out. And I'll see you guys later.